The club lights pulsed in rhythm with the beat, bodies swaying, laughter spilling over cocktails and bass lines. But when Jenny Sowers stepped inside, she didn't hear the music. Her heart still beat to the tempo of grief, of anger, of confusion that hadn't let go since her mother died. Dawn nudged her shoulder with a grin. "Just try to enjoy yourself, Jen. One night. That's all I'm asking." Jenny nodded wordlessly, smoothing her black dress and brushing a loose blonde curl behind her ear. She was beautiful. Yes, model, beautiful. But tonight, her blue eyes were dimmed by sorrow, her smile a ghost of what it once was. She didn't feel alive. Not really. And then she saw him. Hello, story lovers. Welcome. Before we dive into today's story, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. It would help out the channel. Thank you for your support. It means the world to me. Drop a sweet comment below and let us know what time you are watching this. Leaning against the far wall, untouched by the chaos of the dance floor, stood a man who made the entire room blur. Tall, broad-shouldered, dark skin that caught the golden light like polished mahogany. His presence was like gravity. He wasn't watching the crowd. He was scanning, brooding. And when his gaze finally locked with hers, Jenny forgot to breathe. He didn't smile. He didn't look away. Neither did she. Dawn followed her gaze and let out a low whistle. Ooh, someone's about to catch feelings. Jenny shook her head, but her feet were already moving. 2 months earlier, her world had shattered. She had been driving home from a promising job interview, the first sign that maybe, just maybe, her life was turning around, when the call came. A nurse, her mother, the hospital. Words that came in a rush and pierced her like ice through her veins. When she got there, her mother's body was broken, bruised, barely holding on. Tears streamed down Jenny's face as she clutched her hand. "Why didn't you ever leave him, Mom? Why did you stay?" Her mother struggled to speak, each breath weaker than the last. "He's not your father," she whispered. "What?" Her mother's eyes glistened with desperation. "There's a box, hidden under the floorboard in my closet. You'll find the truth there." And then she was gone. Her body went still. Her hand went cold. Jenny screamed, but there was no saving her. Not this time. Peter Sowers, the man who raised her, the man she'd called Dad, was arrested that same night. The neighbors had heard the screams. He hadn't even tried to hide the bruises this time. The funeral was quiet. No eulogy, no closure. Jenny had never felt so alone. So now, standing in a crowded club, staring into the eyes of a stranger who saw through her mask like glass, Jenny's soul stirred for the first time in weeks. She didn't know him, not his name, not his story. But when she reached him, when she stood toe to toe and whispered, "Hi, I'm Jenny," the air around them changed. He looked at her for a long, quiet moment. "Levi," he said. Their hands touched, and something in her chest finally exhaled. Jenny stood in her tiny apartment days after her mother's funeral, her fingers trembling as she pulled back the floorboard beneath the closet. Dust clung to the small metal box, untouched by time, as though it had been waiting just for her. Inside were old letters, a few photos, but what caught her breath was the necklace. A thick silver chain with a single pendant, an intricate shield-shaped design with the engraved initials J.K. curling across the center. The metal was antique, but refined. Not flashy, not ordinary. It was beautiful, but it told her nothing. No name, no face. Just 2 letters and the weight of questions she wasn't sure she wanted answered. She hadn't expected to see Levi again. Not after the night at the club that stirred something deep and unfamiliar in her. But life, as she was learning, had its own plans. Her first day at Kaiser Industries International, she stepped off the elevator, and there he was, Levi McDonald, in a tailored suit, speaking to a department head like he owned the floor. Her breath caught. Their eyes met. "Jenny?" he said, a slow grin spreading. What are you?" "Transferred, just last week. Long story." They didn't dive in right away. But over weeks, coffee breaks, lunch runs, accidental hallway brushes, the connection deepened. He was patient, strong, unapologetically direct. And when Jenny finally told him about her mother, the box, and the necklace, he didn't flinch. "I'll help you find him," Levi said softly, "whatever it takes." But not everyone was happy to see her smile again. Philip Kent, senior manager in Jenny's department, had once asked her out. She declined, gracefully, but firmly. Ever since, he'd walked with a chip on his shoulder. Now, seeing her and Levi growing close, he seemed set on making her daily life a quiet hell. Unfair assignments, subtle snubs, passive-aggressive remarks. Levi saw it too, but Jenny asked him not to step in. "I need to handle this," she said. Then came the company-wide bombshell. The CEO of Kaiser Industries was retiring. The race to replace him had 2 names, Philip Kent and Levi McDonald. The board wanted more than resumes and numbers. They wanted real insights and decided to speak with a selection of employees from various departments. Jenny was one of them. The meeting was formal. High-ranking board members gathered in the top-floor conference room, and then the owner himself, Mr. John Kaiser, entered the room. Older, commanding, with silver hair and eyes that missed nothing. When it was Jenny's turn, she introduced herself with steady calm. "Jenny Sowers, Marketing Division." Mr. Kaiser studied her for a beat. Then his gaze dropped to her necklace. His breath hitched. Where did you get that?" he asked, his voice suddenly hushed. Jenny's eyes widened. It belonged to my mother. She said it was from my real father." The room went silent. Mr. Kaiser stepped closer, almost afraid to believe what he was seeing. "What was your mother's name?" Evelyn Hargrove. She told me Peter Sowers wasn't my dad." Mr. Kaiser's hands trembled as he pulled out his wallet and opened it. Inside was a photo. A young woman, radiant and smiling. Her mother. "My God," he whispered, eyes moist. "You're my daughter." The silence in the boardroom stretched as Mr. Kaiser stared at Jenny like she was a ghost from another life. His fingers brushed the pendant around her neck, then trembled back to his side. "I gave that to Evelyn on her birthday, 24 years ago." Jenny's throat tightened. "You knew my mom?" "I loved your mother." His voice cracked. "She was everything to me. But I was a young man trying to build an empire. I had to travel, disappear sometimes, close deals no one else could. I left for a 6-month stretch in Europe, and when I came back, she was gone. No trace. No letter. No goodbye. I searched for her for over a year, but I couldn't find her. Eventually, I thought, she must have moved on." Jenny's heart slammed against her ribs. Her mother had always seemed haunted by something, but now she understood. Evelyn had protected Jenny the only way she knew how, by hiding her. I should have tried harder, John Kaiser whispered. I would have protected you both. I'm so sorry, Jenny. She blinked back tears, her world tilting again. Except this time, it felt like the foundations were finally being laid instead of ripped apart. Outside the boardroom, chaos buzzed. News of the CEO transition was leaking. Philip Kent, sensing his grip loosening, began pulling strings and whispering poison in the hallways. He questioned Levi's experience, his rapid promotion, even his interest in Jenny. But Levi didn't flinch. If anything, he stood taller. He walked Jenny home after long shifts, showed up with takeout and flowers. He made her laugh when her heart was heavy, listened when she was quiet, and gave her space when she needed it. On their 6th official date, after a rooftop dinner under cafe lights, Jenny looked at him and whispered, I don't think I've ever felt this safe with someone. Levi leaned in, brushing a curl from her cheek. Then let's build something where you'll always feel that way. And she let him kiss her, slow, sure, and tender. A few nights later, curled on the couch with his head in her lap, she told him everything. About her real father, about the boardroom reveal, about the confusion burning through her veins. He didn't say much at first. Then he sat up and took her hand. That makes you Jenny Kaiser, the heir to one of the most powerful companies in the country. She blinked. I haven't even processed that part yet. Well, he grinned, when you're ready, I'll be right beside you, whether you take the empire or walk away from it. But Philip wasn't done. He filed a confidential report accusing Levi of tampering with internal data and favoring Jenny for promotions, claims easily disproven, but enough to rattle the board. And when Mr. Kaiser called a final private meeting with the board and both candidates, Levi came in prepared, but quiet, until the very end, when Mr. Kaiser stood and said, I have no doubt in my mind who should lead this company, but I want to hear one last thing from my daughter. All eyes turned to Jenny. She stood, heart pounding, and looked at both men. Then she looked at Levi, and her voice didn't shake. I trust him, not because we're together, but because I've watched how he leads, with integrity, compassion, and strength, and because I know, even without a title, he already carries the weight of this company in the way he treats people. Mr. Kaiser smiled faintly, and Philip's fate was sealed. The announcement hit the company like a thunderclap. Levi McDonald was the new CEO of Kaiser Industries International. His promotion was celebrated by many, feared by some, and absolutely despised by one, Philip Kent. But Philip barely had time to stir trouble before HR and security arrived at his office. Mr. Kaiser himself had authorized his termination, not just for his false accusations against Levi, but for a long-standing pattern of intimidation, manipulation, and abuse of power that had gone unchecked until now. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the exciting conclusion. Please subscribe if you have not done so. See you next time, and remember, love is free.